Hello, hello. So we are um, talking about fire prevention today. This is Fire Prevention Month, and I have firefighter Jeremy Austin with me, and we are going to talk about some ways to fireproof your house. Now, is it possible to fireproof a home?
No.
No. But we can take measures to make sure that we are doing everything we possibly can to prevent the fires in our home. Specifically in our home, one thing we usually do not do, it's very rare, is burn candles. If I light a candle, he goes right behind me and blows them out. It stresses him out if we have candles lit. So, candles aren't necessarily a bad thing, but if you leave the house and you leave your candles running, that could be bad. If you have pets that can knock your candles over, that could be bad. So we're going to talk about just some different ways, just some common themes that he has seen over the 23 years that you've
21.
been 21. Yeah, that's right. 21 years that he's been a firefighter. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay.
What do you suggest?
Candles. Yeah, they're not altogether bad. Just make sure they're in a nice place that is not surrounded by curtains or any kind of flammable things. Putting them on a decorative dish or plate is, always a good idea. And so that way, that when they do burn down, they won't go very far. And then pets, yeah, the pets and candles don't mix. Kitty cats are flammable, and that does make for a bad day. So, other prevention items, we're looking at going into Christmas time, which is my least favorite time of year, um, just because there's a lot more crazy stuff that does happen. Um, so,
Ooh, and Thanksgiving and turkeys.
yes,
People like to
yes,
fry their turkeys and then they catch their house on fire.
yes. Do not deep fry a frozen turkey. Make sure it is thawed out for a few days first, because ice and hot oil, they explode. It really does. It explodes, catches fire, and people burn their houses down. So, um, do not fry anything on your wooden porches or within 3 to 5 feet of the house. Make sure that you are far away and on concrete. So,
Yeah.
much safer. Um, as far as going into this winter time and Christmas time and everything else, people plug in more stuff. People run space heaters. People plug in Christmas trees, and just a lot more electricity is used. Sometimes people are, starting fires in their prefab fireplaces that haven't been cleaned in 20 years. That's also an issue. So, I guess we can start with the electricity side of things,
Okay.
making sure that the sockets that you're plugging into are not pulled from the wall or frayed, or the wiring is in good condition, your home is in good condition. That's, as homeowners, it's important to keep up your own stuff. Nobody else is in charge of your electricity, your plumbing, your home. Keeping it clean and in good condition. Learn as much as you can. There's an infinite well of knowledge there at your fingertips called YouTube that can show you almost anything on what to look at and inspect to make sure that it's okay, and then call a licensed electrician to come and fix it. Do not go and try to fix things yourself as far as your wiring and stuff that needs to be done by a professional. Um, but then, when you start plugging things in, I know that you like the pretty lights. I know that you like the big Christmas trees and lots and lots and lots and lots of lights. But these things, power strips, sorry, let me get the right direction. These are not made really to handle that kind of a load. Yes, they have multiple things, but when you start plugging in lights and stuff that run all the time and stuff that are really long, or joining multiple of these together, um, apertures are not made for that. So there's two different parts to electricity. There's volts and amps. Volts is the speed of the river, and amps is how wide the river is. Well, if it's low on amps, that river is very narrow, And when you try to shove a lot more volts through that narrow stream, what you get is heat. And that heat melts and then becomes fire or becomes something, very, very bad. Just a bad day that's burning down Christmas trees and burning down homes and everything else. So if you are going to use an extension cord, number one, make sure it's an amperature for what you're using it for. Space heaters are a no-no. Space heaters, they operate a lot of amps, so you do not plug them into this. This is plastic. This will heat up and melt and then catch fire. Always plug them straight into the wall, but also make sure that your wall that you're plugging it into can handle the amperature. Most homes today are only built with 15 amp plugs on 15 amp breakers, and a lot of the big space heaters take way too much.
And that's where you end up with your tripped breakers. And the more frequently you trip a breaker, the easier it is to trip, and then you will need an electrician to come in and replace that. So if you notice that your breakers are tripping very easily, you probably have too much plugged up, and it's going to trip more often.
Right. Yep, they become weaker and weaker, and then that becomes a fire hazard in itself. Christmas trees, as you go for those, you are putting lights on them, and lights get hot. If you're using a live Christmas tree, which I do not recommend anymore, they're dry. Yeah, there's too many artificial trees out there that look fantastic.
And are already pre-lit.
I know they're expensive, but you're not also buying one from year to year, where live Christmas trees you are. And the problem with the live Christmas tree is as we want to say that we're diligent about keeping them watered, we're not. Everybody's too busy, and it goes without water, or the kitty cat gets under there and drinks all the water, and then you're dry, and next thing you know, it's catching fire and creating a mess as well. So there's a lot of things in the winter time really that pose more hazard than any other time of year, which is why Fire Prevention Month is as we get colder.
So what, people say check your smoke detectors, every 6 months?
Yes. So
how do we...
Whenever the time changes, we have a time change. Normally, we used to have to reset clocks. Now a lot of them reset themselves, like all of your smart devices. But every time that time of year rolls around, we're always reminded by 50 billion people online telling, hey, remember to rewind your clock so you're not late to church or late to this or late to that. And that's just a great opportunity and a reminder to check the batteries in your smoke detectors. Check the smoke detectors. They do go bad, and they do expire, actually. Most are only good for about 10 years. If your home is 40 years old, like our home, and still has an original smoke detector, chances are it's probably not going to work. They do fill with dust. They have little sensors within them that will get dust on them, and then they won't work at all, and you'll have smoke and fire, and it won't go off. So a common smoke detector is one just like this. I know the light's kind of weird, so can't get the left right thing. There we go.
Yeah.
So
video's backwards for us.
that's a common smoke detector. This one is actually a 10-year smoke detector. It has an internal battery that is good for 10 years. So as soon as you put it on the wall and it clicks over, it activates the battery and it lasts for 10 years. You don't have to check it, but I would still check to make sure it's functioning every 6 months. There's always buttons on them, kind of like this. One of these buttons is a push to test. You can sit there and hold that button down until it alarms, and you'll hear it alarm. Not chirp, alarm. If a smoke detector is chirping, which we all have heard that before, that
2 a.m.
It just goes off. That doesn't mean your smoke detector's bad. It doesn't mean that it's going off. It doesn't mean there's smoke in the house. It usually means the battery's dead, and it needs you to do that. Now, a lot of systems are wired together in homes, so they're battery backup and wired systems. Those systems, if one starts going chirp, all of them start going chirp. And we get calls all the time to come out and try to figure out this for this homeowner. And that kind of aggravates firefighters because there's a lot of other things we could be doing instead of chasing your dead batteries in your smoke detectors. Change them every 6 months regardless, and then this doesn't happen. You should also know your home. You should know your smoke detectors and how to turn one counterclockwise, pop it off the wall, and check it. There's a little plug on the back. You just pop that off. It's easy enough. If you need to replace it, go to Home Depot, but take it with you because the plugs on the back can be unique, and but more than likely they'll have one there to replace it.
So with a smoke detector, where should I put these in my home?
Okay. Um, there's a lot of different discussions on that within the fire department world, but generally you want to have them near the bedrooms because that's usually the time that you're going to need it is during sleeping hours. That's usually the most important time. And don't put it inside the bedroom because you should be sleeping with your bedroom door shut anyways. So that way if there's a fire in the house, that creates a barrier to keep you safer for a little bit longer. If the smoke detector's inside your bedroom, that means smoke's inside your bedroom and it's too late. So keep them on the outside, but just above the doors, on the walls, just above the doors, and or on the ceiling, either way, and at every bedroom. Then keep one near the kitchen. I don't recommend keeping it in the kitchen. I would put it just outside the kitchen because a lot of times we burn food and you don't want that thing going off every 2 seconds. However, if there's a kitchen fire, you do want to catch it pretty quick.
Okay. And while we're on the subject of kitchen fires, if I have a grease fire, what do I do to put it out?
Flour.
Flour.
Never ever water. Water's just going to make it worse and make it explode. You usually want to use a powdered-like substance like flour is a great one. It makes a mess, but that's a great thing to have. Now,
that's an easier mess to
you
clean
should
up
have a fire extinguisher on hand. You can buy little ones at Walmart, and you can get one rated for kitchen fires. Make sure it has a K on it. It will have designations of A, B, C, and then K. K is for kitchen. That's the one you want, and you want to keep that in your house and keep it close by, not under the sink. I don't recommend that just because you're going to be scrambling right there. They could be there at the sink. Maybe you've thrown the pan over on the sink and you're trying to dig something out around fire. Put it just in a cabinet, like to the far side of the kitchen.
Okay. All right. So another one that Jeremy always gets on to me about, because I am absolutely horrible when it comes to cleaning out the dryer lint. So hopefully there are other people in the world that are like me. I have a feeling I might be in the minority when it comes to dryer lint. But would you say that is probably a majority cause of house fires that don't start in the kitchen or the garage?
Yes. Yeah, we get tons of calls just for the dryer itself. And it hadn't gotten into the wall or into the house yet. We pulled tons of dryers out that it starts in the dryer because when that lint trap is blocked, the airflow isn't flowing right, and it makes that dryer so much hotter on the inside, which catches the clothes inside on fire, and then that expounds from there. So we end up dragging the unit out in the yard and throwing, your laundry out on the yard, and nobody wants to see their thong thrown out on the middle of their front lawn. So if you don't want the embarrassment, make sure you clean out the dryer, the lint trap. It's usually ours is actually difficult, which is why I think we don't clean it out like we should. Probably. Because it's on the top. Usually we got stuff on top of it and everything else. It's kind of out of the way. We don't think about it. But the ones that are right there inside the door, it's easy enough. Just pull it out, clean it off real quick, put it back in, go about your business. It makes the dryer run more efficiently, use less electricity, and it's going to dry your clothes better. Now, the wall, though, where the piping comes out of the dryer and goes into the wall, it can collect lint over years, and you actually should be cleaning that out about once a year, usually with a time change. Let's say make it your spring cleaning, right? Your spring time change cleaning. It's easy enough. You just pull the dryer away from the wall, undo the little clip on the hose, pull the hose off. Most everybody has some form of a leaf blower. We have this little electric leaf blower that we keep on hand on our back porch. It's just really handy for blowing off leaves and whatnot right here on the back porch. However, if you take that on the inside of your home, not on the outside, on the inside of your home, after you've undone that hose, put that up to the wall and blow out your line. And I say do it from the inside out because if you go to the outside and blow it in, you're going to have lint all in your house.
Yeah, bigger mess to clean up. Okay. All right. So any other little tidbits or things that maybe the average homeowner isn't aware of, that maybe you've seen over your career, I know I was telling somebody the other day, like, I think the most devastating sight to see is a house fire. And I've only ever seen one, and that was my mom's neighbor. And that was just, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that every single day. And I mean, you guys are there to put it out while the rest of us are like, what do we do? You know, we
Right.
can't do anything. Um, if you're home when your house catches on fire, um, what are some good things? I know most of the time you're, oh crap, my house is on fire. What am I going to
Mhm.
do? So stay calm, obviously, number one. Should we go and also get a water hose and try to assist while you guys are on your way?
I mean, look, what we tell you for life safety, for people safety, is just to get out, just to have a plan, get out, get your loved ones out, and that's it. Don't go back in for objects, and don't go back in for pets or anything like that. Just human life. That is the number one most important. However, let's say it's a little bitty kitchen fire on the stove, and you've thrown some flour on it, and maybe it's still not got it, but the little sprayer nozzle is right there in reach of the kitchen, and you think you can just and get it. By all means, let's use our brains a little bit too.
Yeah.
Or let's say it's you're burning some leaves in the yard and it got away from you and it's trying to get up the side of the house. Water hose. You should always have that on handy anytime you're dealing with any kind of fire outside. If you got one of those little chimenea things and you burn in it, please keep a hose right there by it. I know it's nice and pretty and it's comfortable and you don't think about that, but one of the ones we saw was somebody was burning in one of those. They left it unattended for, a few minutes and went inside their house. It lit their yard on fire. It did not burn their house down. It burned the yard, went to the neighbor's house, and burned theirs completely to the foundation. So, yes, it's very devastating. And when we get there, and it's on fire, we're going to drown it with water, which is going to make even more damage. So nothing comes out unscathed when it comes to fire. No, none of these houses come out without some sort of damage. Even if there's just a little bit inside of a wall and it's just a little bit of heat, we still have to rip all that sheetrock off and make a whole mess that you don't want to get into, and that honestly insurance fights you every tooth and nail to try to pay.
Yeah.
And especially when the fire burns your roof off or something like that, it's going to be miserable. Making sure your homeowner's insurance is up to date and up to par for pricing is another
Yes.
big deal. We just struggled with that with our insurance here at our personal home because building materials have gone up in price. It's not based upon what you paid for your home. It's based upon what it would cost to rebuild it and refurnish it
In the event of a total loss.
in the event of
Yeah.
total loss.
And we were only insured for about $450 to $470,000. And when I looked at that, I was like, there's no way we could rebuild our home the way that it is for that amount. And people who've been in their homes for 20, 30 years, you probably, unless you've got a really great insurance policy that automatically adjusts for that each year, you probably are underinsured. So I would definitely have that conversation with your insurance agent as well. Just what am I insured for in the event of a total loss? And because I think probably second to the actual house burning down is not having enough money to rebuild or replace the items in your home as well, and to either I mean, I've seen several. Just as an agent, I get updates on different houses that are hitting the market, and I've seen two in the last year of people who didn't have homeowners insurance. Their house burned, and now they're selling what's left of it at a huge loss to hopefully make up so that they can move on to get another home because they don't have any way to fix the house.
Right.
So never, never, never cancel your homeowner's insurance.
No.
All right.
Make recordings too of what is in your home. It's easy to take your phone and take it around your home and video record everything that's in your home. Just a big walkthrough, because the insurance company doesn't know what's in there, and they're going to fight you about how much things are and what they are and to replace. And a fire can completely destroy things, and it could. Let's say it burns on the left side of your home. and we stop it, and it saves the right hand side of your home. However, you've got smoke damage, and when smoke gets into anything electronic, it's done. It's gone. That 75-inch screen TV on the wall that was way on the other side of the house, it's still done. Um, Insurance is still going to fight you. We see this stuff a lot. That there's reasons why that people are having to beg the Red Cross and different other things to help them out is because their insurance is not up to par, and we see this a lot. So make sure that you are protected, and that way, hopefully, you'll never ever ever have to use that. However, it's good to have.
It's a good safety net. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So again, October is Fire Prevention Month. It's a great time for you to work on your escape plan with your family. If you're in a 2-story, I think they make roll-up ladders that you can store. So, teach your kids how to use those in case they can't get downstairs to escape.
Teach them how to check doors. Teach them to keep their doors shut when they sleep. I know little kids don't like that. However, it's much, much safer because then, they have that barrier, and it has saved lives.
Yeah. So making sure test your smoke detectors. If you don't have any smoke detectors, then head to Walmart or Home Depot, pick them up, go ahead and get those installed. Keep some batteries on hand. Again, change those out every 6 months. Test your smoke detectors. Did you want to show how to test it? This particular model?
Yeah, it's just there's a button. Some of them have two. One's to hush. One is to make it go off. And you just hold it to, this one says press to test. It gives you a little chirp, and then it'll start going off here in a second. Pretty loud. That's what it sounds like when one goes off. Then you just push the other one to make it hush. Hopefully.
Maybe.
There it goes. Okay. So
that's
what it sounds like.
If you do have smoke detectors, this is a great time to go ahead and change that battery. We are headed, I think time changes in 3-4 weeks from now.
It's in November.
October being Fire Prevention Month, I would go ahead, go over that plan, make sure your smoke detectors are active and good, make sure that you have the fire extinguishers in different places. Clean out your dryer lintz.
Chimneys too. We didn't go over chimneys. There's multiple companies that are fire safety companies. You can find them online. You can just Google fire safety company, and they'll actually come out and inspect your home. Sometimes for free. It just depends on what they're doing. If you're signing up for like a chimney cleaning, creosote builds up in there, and it becomes a problem when you go to start that fire about this time of year, and it catches, and especially in these prefab fireplaces, they're not really made for a lot of heat. They're made for pretty. They're not made to heat your home. It actually pulls more heat out than it usually does. We have a wood burning stove in ours, and that is made for heating the home. And so it functions a little different. However, you still have to clean the chimney, and having a certified chimney sweep, not the one from Mary Poppins. That's not what we're doing.
Birds.
No, we're not dancing on the rooftops. But these fire safety companies have those, and they will get up on your roof. They'll inspect the chimney. They'll actually send a camera down the chimney and inspect for cracks and different things and different problems. But they'll clean it out and get it ready for you, and that's super important. Just burning a little creosote log, it's not going to do it.
Not enough. So this is just a great time. I know I usually post simple home maintenance tips at the beginning of each month, and this is just a great time of year to remember those things. We're about to start burning again in our fireplaces, making sure that your plan is in place. If you've got little kids that, you don't want to scare them, I know that, but, just having a plan, because if you don't have a plan and something does happen, then it's all chaos. So just those little things. Again, you can't fireproof your house, but there are plenty of things that you can do to hopefully prevent any fires in your home. And then, of course, have those extinguishers and the just that plan in place so that you know what we're going to do if this happens. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us abovethecallhomeservices.com. And we also have a plethora of YouTube videos. We have some simple home maintenance videos. We have some fun videos. That's all on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@abovethecallhomeservices. And if you have any questions or you'd like more information, you can reach out to us through that website. Again, that's abovethecallhomeservices.com. I hope you guys have a great day.